Don't remember what I was going to talk about today. I'm assuming I don't have a stroke by then, because fuck me, everything's just going wrong. What the fuck is happening in the world? Yeah, so recently someone died. I won't mention the name because I don't think it's even worthy of that. But apparently this guy promoted violence and hatred. And also was a big follower of Trump. So you can expect they sort of go hand in hand. And there's been really mixed reactions on this, and it's made me think about just how peaceful protest sometimes just doesn't seem right to me. It's very weird because I want peace, obviously. I don't want violence. I don't want it anywhere. The problem is, how are you supposed to fight back? You know, that's one of the things that's always bothered me. And obviously, death itself is a tragedy either way, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with someone. But what are you supposed to do when you're threatened? Like, how are you supposed to react? And generally, like, if you just stand there, obviously you're just gonna fucking die. Like, you would have died for almost nothing, pretty much. And once that area becomes exploitable, because believe it or not, that is an exploitable thing now, you end up losing your life, and well, you might even just lose your limbs because of injuries. So the system is very much against you in that case. And looking at how corrupt everything is in the UK recently, a fucking war criminal stepping into Downing Street and shaking hands with our crappy Prime Minister, who's obviously now complicit, just blatantly, in a genocide that most Brits don't even agree with. So that tells you the problem here. I don't know what it's going to take exactly. It's just extremely concerning. You know, arresting people for protest as well is like so dystopian. Because it essentially means you're trying to silence free speech, and likewise, like, if it was like people protesting against Democrats, I'd be for it. Because that's what protest is. And generally it has to have a good grounds, like a good meaning. Unfortunately, like, people on the right don't understand what protest is, and they, as we found out, that most of them are criminals anyway, because they've committed domestic abuse and child abuse. But they go to asylum hotels and protest, like, while us, like, we find there's issues to protest, we take to the streets. Yeah, we address everybody. But these far-right bigots are addressing the asylum seekers themselves, which doesn't make any sense. I did some research on this morning because I was curious. The most common argument I see is that they're given a luxury life the moment they appear in the UK. This turns out to be false. According to, I forgot the name, it's like Home something. Home, so I can't remember the name, I should go look on the history. There's like a source from 6 years ago saying, hello, MPs rally for Gaza, I'm gonna look at that. A source from 6 years ago talked about it, right to remain, that's it. Basically how you get asylum in the UK. And it's very much in line with what I've sort of known about it anyway. It's because there's a country that's essentially endangering your life, either through war or through discrimination. And that's really why asylum hotels are a thing. Again, this is what searches showed up anyway. And to apply for that, you need to undergo interviews, which you need to prove somehow that you're in a place where your life could be in danger. where you're up for persecution just for being you, or just trying to live a normal life. Like, it's like being in Ukraine, like on the borders near Russia, and suddenly, oh, there's a fucking war going on, there's like tanks in our city, like, we've got to get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah, those people are entitled to refuge. Problem is, people don't seem to give a shit. Like, this fact seems to completely pass over the head, and it leads to more harm than anything else. Like, it's so fucking bad. It's to think that also these could be families here in these hotels as well, that have essentially sought asylum and gone out of a bad situation like this. Like, it's just so dystopian. What the fuck are people thinking? It's just nuts to me. Like, clearly these people have no clue what a human right is, which to me is not free speech, it's just hate speech. And this is why we're associating the England flag with a symbol of hatred, a symbol of racism. It's because that's literally what they're presenting. You know, whenever you see it, you can see this isn't like a welcoming thing. If it was welcoming, people would write on it. They would send a message. So, like, patriotic and welcome, for example. Or welcome refugees. Like, there's ways to convey that you're welcoming of people, like, of your own population or refugees. And the bigots are trying to argue that they're doing this, but that's not the case at all. And you see an uptick in racism, and merely it's more anecdotal at the moment because I don't think we have a statistic. Again, this is what a violent protest does, because it's not peaceful at this point. They are literally getting violent, they're beating up people, they're obviously spouting racist crap, and they're just telling refugees to go back to essentially the place they came from to get a death penalty. So that is violent protest. And you might say, like, you're just stretching it. You're saying that they'll get the death penalty because you're kicking them back to where they came from. That's not a stretch at all. Sending someone back to a place where they'd otherwise be killed, again for reasons that they fled there from, and also just probably being killed because they fled. Like, that is literally advocating for violence. And this is a difficult point with, like, violent and peaceful protests. But do we set examples by being peaceful, and that's just what we need to stick to? That way we just, on the side of history anyway, like, we look like we're on the right side of history, because we're doing it peacefully. And preferably non-discriminately either. Like, I've seen people in wheelchairs go to, like, animal rights protests, for example. See people with other issues go there, like, it's not uncommon. So it essentially becomes a point of hatred, and with the guy I will not mention, it's going for CC, that's literally the fucking name. But CC basically advocated for the violence and got what he advocated for. Again, based on what I know of him anyway, and I could be wrong. So at a certain point I'm just not really affected by it, in all honesty. It's like, there were worse things that happened that day, yesterday. Apparently some other children were shot, which is terrible. I think another person as well, can't remember, but for some reason the news focuses on CC, which is disgusting. Like, as if there's already enough attention for fucking Margot and Trump. Like, just fuck off. Focus on other victims. And stop promoting this shit. It's so bad. yeah, like, this shit wouldn't have happened if people were protesting peacefully and even enforcing peace. Again, it's like, this is why you can't have anywhere that's safe. And there's also something that was brought up by, it's not Adam Buckley, is it? I think it might be actually. It's a YouTube channel I've been recommended a few times. I think he's left wing, I could be mistaken, but he made a video on this as well, which sort of got me thinking about it. But he said that Charlie Kirk's death is essentially a bad thing, and this means that it will inspire more violence. And I do think I agree with that. It's concerning, for sure, and I don't really know what else to say, though. It's just concerning because it will inspire more violence, and this will just span across all populations, like not just far right, but far left, middle, anyone really. And it does leave the world in a concerning state. I've seen people in the comments actually as well saying that we're doing a revolution, which I said years ago, by the way. I predicted this thing would happen, and the more that we put up with the shit that far right people and billionaires do, and just bigots in general, the more violent things will get, and eventually a revolution will come of it. So it doesn't surprise me. So now, I'll just leave my closing thoughts, and I think you just need to stand for what's right in the end, and it may just be what's right for you, but it could also be what's right for everyone else. And I just sort of, I'm more strongly aligned with the latter there. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and see everyone another time. I think I'm having a stroke of my knee. It's very soft knee for some reason. Yeah, I need serious help.